Hello, and welcome to the Hail Mary Joe 2 TD Scorer Show. I'm your host, Jose, and here we go for week number 9. We're going to review week 9's Thursday night's game. I had 2 players, each for 2 TDs, and a single game parlay on them, so I spent $3, and both of my players each only got 1, so we didn't have a winner. So I lost $3 that day. Now, when we're talking about gambling, please note that this is what I'm doing, and I'm not authorized to give you financial advice, so this is strictly what I'm doing and only what I'm doing. With regards to gambling, you should only be able to gamble, or you should only gamble what you can afford to lose. If you can't do that, then don't gamble, please. So, today we've got 13 games on the docket for the rest of week 9. So I'm going to have 1 ticket of 5 players, all for 2 TDs. I'm betting the 1s, 2s, and 3s. It's costing me a total of $12.50. And then I'm going to have 1 ticket of 4 players, betting the 1s, 2s, and 3s. It's going to cost me $7. And then I'm having 1 ticket of 3 players. I'm betting the 1s, 2s, and 3s, costs me a total of $3.50. So at the end of the day, I'm spending $23 this week. So here we go for ticket number 1. Player number 1 is going to be Jalen Waddell for Miami KC game. He's for the Miami Dolphins, 2 TDs at 11-1. Last 3 games, he's 20 out of 27. Catches for 235 yards and 2 TDs. Only 1 TD in the last game, so that's why we're picking him this week. A season high in targets in week 8. He had more than Tyreek Hill. Not only that, Tyreek Hill is playing a revenge game, and Andy Reid is going to make sure that Tyreek Hill is not going to be the reason why they lose this game. So that's going to free up Waddell for us to have a few more opportunities, and he's playing almost 60% of all offensive snaps on that team. They're also the most explosive team in the NFL. So player number 2 on ticket number 1, we have Cooper Kupp for the LA Rams at 2 TDs, paying 11-1. He Bet Ripien is going to be their quarterbacks. It's not the best of situations, but it is what it is. He's still getting a team high of 33% of the target share. And in the last 3 games, he's been 13 for 26, 198 yards, and 1 TD. So he is due for his 2 TD game, and this could be the week. So, player number 3 on ticket number 1 is going to be Scary Terry McLaurin for Washington Commanders, 2 TDs at 19-1. So Washington's playing New England. Has a bit of a tough matchup, but we'll wait and see. I trust the Washington Commanders offense more so than I do the New England Patriots. And if plans go accordingly, J.C. Jackson, the New England cornerback, he is graded the 7th worst in man coverage. So if Terry Scary is going to line up across him, expect him to get a lot of targets and a lot of catches. So that's the reason for Scary Terry or Terry McLaurin. And the player number 4 on ticket number 1 is going to be Adam Thielen for Carolina, 2 TDs at 14-1. Indiana's playing Carolina. So Indy surrenders the 11th most passing yards per game, but they also have the 25th ranked pass defense. So I expect Adam, the number 1 receiver out of Carolina, is going to get his opportunities and his chances. He's been averaging 11 targets in the last 4 out of 5 games. So right there and then, he's going to see some opportunities. So the 5th player I have on ticket number 1 is going to be Garrett Wilson for the New Jersey Jets, 2 TDs at 13-1. LA Chargers are allowing the most, almost 200 yards, almost 200 yards per game for wide receivers. And Garrett has at least 12 targets in the last 3 to 4 games. So, yeah, he's the best receiver. He's getting the most looks. He's a great opportunity this week against that LA Chargers defense. So, now we're going to go on to ticket number 2. So, remember, 4 players on ticket number 2. Player number 1 is going to be Rashid Shaheed for New Orleans, 2 TDs at 22-1. Chicago is at New Orleans this week. In the last game, he was 3 for 3, 153 yards, and 1 TD. Okay, he is a zone beater. receiver. He just finds ways to get open, and you can do it. He's still getting 11.8% of the target share and 12.6% of the first reads, right? He'll probably be facing Kyler Gordon from the Chicago Bears, and he's giving up a catch rate of 85.7% catch rate. So two players have also caught two receiving TDs against Chicago this year. That's enough for me. There you go. Rashid Shaheed for New Orleans, 2 TDs. So the next person I have is going to be ticket number 2. Player number 2 is Jordan Addison for Minnesota, 2 TDs at 22-1. Minnesota is playing Atlanta. Two players have already received, have had 2 receiving TDs against Atlanta already this year. In the last 5 games, he's been 17 for 23, 297 yards and 5 TDs. So he's getting 27.4% of the first reads right there and then. Tells me all I need to know for Jordan Addison this week. So the third player I have on ticket number 2 is going to be DK Metcalf for Seattle, 2 TDs at 20-1. Yes, they're playing the Baltimore defense. Seattle's at Baltimore this week. Injury reviews is all good. He's good to go. In the last 3 games, he's been 13 of 27 for 170 yards. One player has had 2 receiving TDs against Baltimore this year. It's always a toss-up between him and Lockett, and excuse me if I'm saying the word wrong, but Njigba is also coming on strong the last couple of weeks, but I'm sticking with DK Metcalf. It's time he gives us 2 TDs this year, so let's go. So the fourth person I have on ticket number 2 is going to be Jake Ferguson for Dallas, 2 TDs at 18-1. Dallas is playing Philadelphia. It's a divisional game, should be a great game to watch. In the last 3 games, Jake has been 8 for 8 for 90 yards and 1 TD. He finally got his first TD again for this year. So you know what, Dawson Knox is still out, so he's going to get a lot of opportunities. Sorry, not Dawson Knox, the other guy. But anyway, so he is the number 1 tight end now in Dallas's offense, and I expect him to get a lot of great opportunities and a lot more chances now that he's been able to find the red zone once this year. The first one's always the hardest, remember? So that's it, what we have for ticket number 2. Ticket number 3 is going to be as follows. It's going to be 3 players, and the first player is going to be Chris Godwin for Tampa Bay, 2 TDs at 20-1. He got us our first TD of the year last week. Well, I shouldn't say last week because he was on a bye week last week, but the week before that. So he's finally found the end zone. We had him for 2 TDs that game, but he only got 1. So here we go. In the last game, he was 5 for 7 for 54 yards with 1 TD, and he actually had more opportunities and targets than anybody else, Mike Evans, on that team. So you know what? It's a great time for them to, further work, him and Baker, to further work on that connection. And hopefully I see a lot of good opportunities for him this week. So player number 2 for ticket number 3 is going to be Dalton Kincaid for Buffalo, 2 TDs at 20-1. Buffalo is playing Cincinnati. So in the last 3 games, Dalton's been 15 for 17, 159 yards and 1 TD. First TD of the year for this guy too. And you know what? At this rate, Dawson Knox is out. There's where I wanted to mention his name. Dawson Knox is out, which means that he's the clear-cut number 1, and he's going to get more and more opportunities and red zone targets, which is going to give him a great opportunity to get us 2 this week. The last player I have on ticket number 3 is going to be as follows. Jacoby Myers for the Las Vegas Raiders, 2 TDs at 20-1. The Giants are in Vegas this week. So in the last 3 games, he's been 13 for 21, 130 yards. Davante Adams has been very frustrated, and I've never seen him drop so many catchable balls like he did last week. So you know what? Jacoby could just be the guy this week and comes through for us, and I think that he's trusted in that offense, so he will get some opportunities and looks. So let's just go over this. So we have ticket number 1 is going to be Jalen Waddell. These are all two tickets, 2 touchdown scores. So Jalen Waddell for Miami, Cooper Kupp for the Rams, Terry McLaurin for Washington, Adam Thielen for Carolina, and Garrett Wilson for the New York Jets. So ticket number 2 is going to be Rashid Shaheed for New Orleans, Jordan Addison for Minnesota, and it's going to be DK Metcalf for Seattle, along with Jake Ferguson from Dallas. And then the last ticket that we have for the 3 players is going to be as follows: Chris Godwin for Tampa, Dalton Kincaid for Buffalo, and Jacoby Myers for Las Vegas. Please enjoy the games. Gamble, be a responsible gambler, so don't gamble unless you can afford to lose it, and enjoy the games. I'll be back Thursday for a review of Sunday's games and so forth. So all the best. Have a good one.